working on book 6.1b, and we're gonna, the final step where you divide by same over same, you divide by a number to get x alone. Well, this is what we're going to do in this video. So we write divide this way. We write divide this way when we're maybe 10 years old. We don't use this very much now. But in algebra, we use divide this way. So instead of always seeing this as a fraction, see this as divide. 30 divided by 10. Okay? And whenever we have the same number over the same number, it's equal to 1. Okay? And we have to use this to solve our equation, whether it's divide or multiply. So let's look at question 5. Okay? So here, I want to do 5 and 6, and I want to show you that these two questions, even though they look very different, they're actually the same. Okay, we solve them the same way. So here we want x to be alone, so we have to get rid of this 3. So what we're going to do is we have to make that fraction negative 3 over negative 3, because it makes a 1, and so it makes x sort of by itself. So what I'm going to do here is I already have the top of the fraction, so now I'm going to put the bottom of the fraction on, and I have to do it to both sides. So now I have same over same, negative 3 over negative 3, so that's 1. That's why I put this big line through it, because it sort of means 1. So that's gone because it's really, oops, let me write it a little lower. So that's really 1x, because there's an x still there. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and that's 19. So the x hides, so we go x equals 19. So here, you can see I had the top of the fraction, so now I have to put the bottom of the fraction on. And now here it's the opposite. I have the bottom of the fraction, I have to put the top on. So if x wants to be alone, I have to get rid of this 4. Well, I get rid of it the same way as I get rid of it here, but to get rid of the 4, I have to make the fraction 4 over 4 equals 1. Here, I have the bottom of the fraction. So now I just have to put the top of the fraction on. So I'll extend the line a little bit and put a 4 up there. So I have to think of this as multiply. So now I have this fraction here, 4 divided by 4 is 1. That gets rid of it, just the same way we did it here. But if I put this up here, it's a multiply. It makes things bigger. So if I multiply this by 4, I have to multiply this by 4. So that's 1. So then I'm left with 1 with an x, and 10 times 4 is 40. So really x equals 40. So we're using the same rules here and here to solve the equation. They look different in the beginning, but we solve it the exact same way. So let's do questions 7 and 8. So here x wants to be alone, so I have to make the fraction 4 over 4 equals 1. So here I have the top of the fraction, so I have to put the bottom of the fraction on. And if I do it to this side, I have to do it to that side. So that's equal to 1. So I'm left with 1x equals 28. So x equals 28. So now for this one, x wants to be alone, so I have to get rid of the 9. So I use the fraction 9 over 9 equals 1. So I have the bottom of the fraction already, so now I'm going to put the top of the fraction on. So I'm going to go extend that a bit and put a 9 there. And that's a multiply, so then I'm going to put a multiply there. So same over same is 1. So I have 1x equals, and this is negative 810. So x equals negative 810. Okay, so we're using the same rule. We have to create that fraction that's same over same equals 1 to get rid of whether the number is beside it as a multiply or under it as a divide. We do the same thing. So if I look at, let's do 10 and 11. So if x wants to be alone, I have to get rid of the 10. So I'm going to make the fraction 10 over 10 equals 1. So here I already have the bottom. So now I need to put the top on. And that's a multiply there. So I have to multiply that side also by 10 because I always do the same to both sides. So that's 1. Gets rid of the number with the x. So now I just have 1x equals 420. The 1 can hide, so it's really x equals 420. So here x wants to be alone, so I need to get rid of the 9, so I'd use the fraction 9 over 9 equals 1. Here I have the top of the fraction, so now I have to put the bottom of the fraction on, and that makes it same over same, which equals 1. So that's 1x equals 35. If I do the divide, it's 35. So x equals 35. Okay, let's turn the page. Let's do some weird ones that sometimes feel a little different. Okay, but it's the same. So x wants to be alone, so I have to make the fraction negative 10 over negative 10. That equals 1. So here I have the bottom. So now I have to put the top on. So extend the line, put a negative 10 up here, times negative 10 here. That's 1. So this is 1, and I still have the x here. So it's 1x equals, and a negative 10 times negative 10 is positive 100. So x equals 100, because the 1 can hide. Okay, let's do 22. So x wants to be alone, so I have to get rid of the 15. So I want to make the fraction 15 over 15 equals 1. So here I have the bottom of the fraction already, so I have to put the top of the fraction on. Okay, so if I times this side by 15, I have to times this side by 15. That's 1. So I have 1, and there's my x. So 1x equals 0 times 15 is 0. So x is just equals 0. Here, let's do 23. So x wants to be alone, so I have to get rid of the 25. So I need to make the fraction 25 over 25 equals 1. I have the top of the fraction, so let's put the bottom of the fraction on. Same over same is 1. So now I have x equals, 24 maybe? Okay. Oh, 1x. This is 1. 25 over 25 is 1, and then I have my x, but the 1 can hide, so x equals 24. Let's do this one because they're the same number, and it might confuse you. X wants to be alone, so let's get rid of this 9. So make the fraction 9 over 9. I have the bottom already, so let's put the top on. There, so now I have 9 over 9. If I multiply this side by 9, I have to multiply this side by 9. That's 1, so I really have 1x. This says x times 1, but it doesn't matter if you put the 1 on the back or the front, but usually we put it at the front. And then 9 times 9 is 81, so x is equal to 81, because the 1 can hide. So that's okay. All right.